4 short months ago, after more than 5 years of searching, I was able to acquire a car that I have always thought would be so cool to add to the garage. A 1998 Lamborghini Diablo SV, or Diablo VS, deemed the VS Diablo because it was sold out of the 1998 Victoria's Secret Christmas Dreams and Fantasies catalog. And I was able to do that with the help of Tim Fabrizio, the Barn Find King, who's been here to talk about that and tell his stories as well. But it was such a cool thing to get. However, it was in terribly rough shape, both because it was crashed back in 2006 and had some lingering damage and issues, but mainly because it had been sitting since 2011. 14 years on a lift in an airplane hangar in Illinois, unmoved, and we had no idea what we were in for in the mechanical restoration process to get the car back on the road. And so I set Cameron Davis and the team at DC Motor Works to the task of bringing the car back to life. And that was a journey that was much more complex than any of us had anticipated, because on originally just looking at the car, there wasn't anything immediately wrong that we would have observed. However, as soon as we got the car generally back together and running, it was leaking oil profusely, and there's an O-ring that tends to fail near the head gasket on these Diablos, the 5.7 liter cars in particular, and it was spewing oil. I mean, painting a line on the street as we would drive it. And there's been a lot of content on Cameron's channel, DC Motor Works, about the mechanical restoration of this car. I hope that you'll subscribe there and watch the videos. I also hope that you'll check out today's video sponsor, Auto Tempest. I know we talk a lot about Auto Tempest, but they are one of our longest running sponsors here on VINwiki, and you supporting them is what allows us to make content like this, like Car Trek. So please, right now, click the link in the description below. Car Week, which is the main theme of this video, is one of those opportunities where we really get to dive into the current market values of so many of the amazing cars that we love, because they're coming up for sale at all of the auctions. But Auto Tempest just added a price history tool that shows you the trends of the value of the car that you're looking at over time, so you can see if they're going down, going up, or everywhere in between, and make the most informed buying decisions and offers possible. It makes you the most shrewd negotiator you could possibly be. So check out Auto Tempest right now, because they compile all the major listings from all the major sites into one place. Autotempest.com, all the cars, one search. So I hope that you'll check out the content of bringing the car back to life from Cameron and the DC Motor Works team. It's a very entertaining path that got a lot more complex as the engine was coming back together, because one of the head bolts broke, and that was a terrible noise to hear. They had the security camera footage, and it was a rough moment. Go, mother. Everything had to come back apart. New head studs on the way from Italy, and we got it all put back together in the nick of time. Now, I was not remotely anticipating much of a time buffer before when I knew I was going to need to ship the car to go to Car Week, because there was an invitation for the car to appear at a couple of big events out there, including the Paddock and Concorso Italiano. So Concorso Italiano has historically been one of the coolest events of Car Week, because in the time where Pebble Beach was just old pre-war significant historic cars, there was not much appreciation for modern supercars. So if you wanted to see that before the days of exotics on Broadway and the growth of quail and all this, you went to Concorso Italiano. I'd actually seen some pictures of this car at Concorso Italiano from years and years ago, and so it was going to be cool to try to get the car back there, but we were up against the clock to try to get the car finished. And about 48 hours prior to the time when the truck was going to be here to load the car to get it out there, I was really not very confident that we were going to make it. There was at least a dozen things on the laundry list that needed to be done for the car to be able to be driven safely, because in addition to those events, Car Week is full of amazing events, and I was invited to go to a Supercar Owner Circle drive, a Garage 408 drive, all these other events, and I really didn't want to be flatbedding the car around just to make the primary invitations to go to the Radwood exhibit at the Paddock and again to Concorso Italiano. But I got a text from Cameron about 11 o'clock the night before the truck was going to be here, and he said, "It's done. There's no error lights. The car is ready." And I was like, "What do you mean it like it generally goes, or like we don't have headlights or anything like that?" Because there was a lot, again, on the list prior to that. And he said, "No, I think you'll pass the inspection," which put a huge twist on my next morning, because I needed then to get up at 5 a.m. to take the car up to Gainesville to Bradley's inspection station to get the salvage inspection done, because now it was possible that not only would I have a functional car on a bogus plate, but I might actually be able to register this car, get a license plate for it, and take it to Car Week legally, which was totally outside of my imagination for the possibilities of success in this project. And so I went up there, the car passed immediately and with flying colors, truly no issues, no error lights, no airbag lights, no check engine lights, no suspension error lights. I mean, this is very uncommon for any Diablo, much less one that had been driven so infrequently in the prior years. And so with that in hand, I knew once the car was on the truck, I'd have a couple of days to go to the DMV, get the car properly registered, and show up in Monterey with a license plate to put on the car. It got there, we got it unloaded. It landed at Garage 408, owned by Isaac and Sandy from Gold Rush, some great friends that I was going to be coming back there to do their drive a couple of days later. But I had the Diablo VS in Monterey. And it was one of those really surreal things. And in fact, I got in touch with Larry Yanovich from Winning Automotive Photography to talk about when we could do some photos. And he was going to be out at Big Sur the next morning taking pictures of the Ferrari F40 LM from RM Sotheby's that was going to be auctioned just a few days later and would inevitably set a world record for Ferrari supercars in that moment. And so he was going to be up there. I pulled up there with the Diablo. We got some pictures of the cars together, some pictures of the Diablo alone, and it was really just one of those pinch yourself moments, because I've done Car Week in the Audi R8 from Car Trek 9. I've done it in one of the off-road Cayennes prior to our Arctic expedition with Sway a couple of years ago, and that was cool because you just park anywhere and it fit in with a supercar. But to be there in a car that was so special to me, that the audience had been cheering for as we tried to bring this thing back to life, and something that really was just fitting in with all the events that I had planned and had created this itinerary of really, really special experiences throughout Car Week, was something I really never expected to honestly experience myself. I mean, we dream of all these events, and I think as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm getting a little bit more nostalgic and thinking about really not just the sponsors and the video opportunities and the content and the cars that get us there, but for you guys, for the viewers that have made all of this possible. More than 3,000 videos on the VINwiki channel, doing this every day for 8 years. That's led to things like getting to have a Bugatti in the garage and filming 11 Car Trek series and taking one of my dream cars, one of the most iconic Lamborghinis of the 1990s, to Car Week to present it back to the world and have all of these great moments. And so the next day was the Supercar Owner's Circle Drive, and I was super surprised to get an invite to that, because this Diablo, for most of its life, didn't really belong in the same sentence, much less the same lineup as a Ferrari F40, F50, a Pagani Zonda. All of these new hypercars of the day really do now fit in with these ultra rare, ultra significant cars. And so just seeing it in that lineup and being able to go on a drive like that was so special and so cool. They put on a great event at this $20 million house overlooking the ocean, and it was just an awesome time that ended up at Motor Luck, which also includes the Broad Arrow auctions, where an extraordinary Monterey Blue Monterey Edition Diablo SV was going to be sold in Monterey, and it got bid up. It actually sold the next day, and it's a different deal, but really, really special car and an awesome experience. And they parked my car literally as prominent as it could be in the Supercar Owner's Circle display right next to the stage for the auction. So everybody's coming by, so excited that the car made it, that it's there. They're all like, I've been following along. I thought when I heard that head stud break that there was no chance you guys were going to make it, and here we were. And so I had an awesome time just connecting with a lot of friends, saw Larry Chen and other VINwiki storytellers there at Motor Lux, and Haggerty puts on a lovely event. But the next day was going to be another drive, the 408 Garage Rally. So we went back out towards San Jose to gather up, have a great breakfast, and then do a really spectacular mountain drive in. As I was going out, seeing all the traffic going back into Monterey, I'm like, I'm about to do this again. But fortunately, they had a lovely route. We got right into town, and that led to several other great events with them throughout Car Week. Of course, that next day, Friday, is Quail, and that's become one of the most prominent events around Car Week. And I was not going to display the car there, but they had all the F50 display, including the F50 GT that went on to win. All the manufacturer displays, including the amazing new car from Bugatti that they're only going to make one of, and it cost $20 million. And so that will not be joining my Grand Sport in the garage anytime soon, but really, really just so exciting to see what all these manufacturers are up to. An amazing release from Lamborghini and the Fenomeno and just all the great things to celebrate about the hobby. Connect with so many friends. I walked in to see Doug DeMuro fangirling out over Harry Metcalf, so I got to join him in that and had a lovely conversation and just got to wander around and experience Car Week, feeling like I actually belonged. And I think that's really what we all dream of as kids, reading magazines and seeing things like the Victoria's Secret advertisement for this car and just falling in love with the automobile and hoping that one day it materializes into experiences like this. So from Quail, we went over to the paddock, and this was an extension of the Concorso Italiano into the afternoon and evening of the prior day, where we really got the chance to just have a more relaxing experience, some great food and hospitality, and the chance to officially present the Diablo VS back to the world. And so it was part of a Radwood display and activation there, and it would go on to win Radwood. We won Radwood this year in Monterey, California. I suppose it's hard to imagine what could be any more rad than the Victoria's Secret Angels around this car and then bringing it back, the fun of the journey. And it was so cool because Andy Sumner from DC Motor Works was there with me, going around to Car Week and there to see the car go across the stage, get its award. And as we went up on the stage, Tim Fabrizio finally made it into town, walked up filming me, and saw the car win. And so it was so much fun to be able to add that to kind of the resume of incredible moments that this car's had in its life and to bring it back officially to the world. And so the next day was Concorso Italiano. So we lined it up with the Lamborghini display there, two other beautiful Diablo SVs and a 6-liter car and a Mercy SV, a gorgeous Mura SV, a wonderful lineup from all the clubs and really just capturing that Italian car love and spirit that we love about Car Week. And so went there, no risk of winning any trophies at that event, but it was a wonderful time, again, with great hospitality, a great venue, just outlooks, perfect views, everything that you could dream about that part of California in the summer. After Concorso, that really ended the car's obligations for the week. The next day, we went off to Pebble Beach and got to see all the beautiful displays, all the great cars. My favorite might have been the Adventure Land Rovers display with Camel Trophy Rovers and Trek cars and just all the great things that we remember from the history of my favorite off-roading brand. There was also a great display of Formula One cars, and once again, it was just an opportunity to reconnect with so many people that we love, connect with some great friends, and see some amazing cars. Now, driving around Carmel and Monterey, I mean, you're seeing every kind of supercar, hypercar, significant vintage car, but the response as we drove around the streets, and I was like, go Ed, we love the Victoria's Secret car, there it is. There was so much excitement, and it meant so much to me that the car was exciting for everybody to experience and to see. So we went around to the RM Sotheby's auctions and other things that you do around Car Week and really just planned to meet the shipper and then get the car back home. But, you know, as soon as you were kind of done and you'd gotten the car everywhere it had to go, you just had this like reflection of gratitude. Like, I can't believe that I got to do Car Week. And whenever you do these events, you always kind of look at like, who's doing it right? I mean, you see Houston Crosta blasting around with a Koenigsegg Agera RS and a Chiron and all the other great cars. And that's great. That's awesome. They get to do all these fun drives and things and group meetings and all whatever, house parties. But man, I think to bring that car to all these events and bring it back to the world and have the right story to connect from where it was just a few short months ago to now it's fully functional, back in the world and being driven, being used, and being mentioned in the same breath as so many legendary cars, winning awards at Car Week. I just don't think it could have gone any better. And I think that it was so humbling to be able to recognize, you know, how I've been able to get here through the grace of God and His blessings poured out on me, but significantly because you guys have come along on this journey with us and supported our sponsors like Auto Tempest, supporting everybody else who supports us, and just watching and being a part of the content, cheering us on, subscribing, liking the videos. It does mean so very much. And so my biggest thing today is just to say thank you. I truly appreciate each and every one of you that watch our videos, that come out and see us, that come take a picture, that want something signed, anything that I can ever do. It is so special and it's such an honor to be able to do what I do, and I hope it doesn't stop anytime soon. So thank you all so very much. Car Trek would never have begun and wouldn't exist today without Auto Tempest. So right now, I want you to click the link in the description below to check out Autotempest.com. Not just because they make car trek happen, not just because it's the best place to shop for your next car because it combines all the results from all the major listing sites into one place, but because of this, they have just released my favorite new feature they've ever added to Autotempest.com. It's a price trends tool that allows you to see the historic listing prices for cars like the one you're looking at to see how values are changing, going down, going up, and everything in between. It gives you more information to become the shrewdest negotiator possible as you embark on your car buying and car shopping journey. So check out Autotempest.com at the link in the description below right now to thank them for their support of VINwiki, of Car Trek, and to find your next car.